Hi everyone. All right, I am gonna do something on a Nara round today, one of the circle synthetic art paper. Sorry, I'm getting over a cold and my brain is still not quite unstopped along with the rest of me. This is an 8-inch circle from the Nara synthetic art paper. I really like Nara. If you do not want to use Yupo, which stains really badly, Nara is an excellent brand to use as an alternative to Yupo. It's one of my two favorite things to use. The Nara and the graphics, especially the graphics Durabright. I've gotten where I really like it, but I also like the graphics opaque white craft plastic. But anyway, this one is one of the Nara 8-inch circles. I've got Ranger inks today. I've got eggplant, moss, and shell pink. So this will be a new color combination for me. I've never used these three before. I've been searching for a color combination that I hadn't used before, and I like the way those look together, so we'll see. This is Jacquard Pinata Brass. It's undiluted. I just put it in the needle nose bottle because I don't want to, pour it out of the big hole that big in my other bottle. This is a mixture of somewhere between 91 and 99% alcohol. I had just filled up, combined bottles together when we were doing our move, and I ended up with quite a bit once I combined all of my open bottles of things. So that's what I'm still using. It's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of around 94-95% isopropyl alcohol. This is my Revlon brand styling brush hair dryer with the brush attachment removed. I get questions about this every time, why I use this specific one as well, because this one is 500 watts, so it is not as powerful as some of them are. It has a cool setting, which is what I use almost entirely, unless I just want to go ahead and dry a spot a little bit quicker. I do use the cool setting on this. Now, I have started using it with the Fordham foot pedal, which this is actually plugged into, and all I have to do is I can control the airspeed of this with the foot pedal. I know you all can't see it, and I don't have any good way to show it to you because the cord's not long enough for the foot pedal to put it up here, but you can hear, I think, maybe, but you can hear how I can, I can do just a little bit of air, or I can do full force. So that's really handy. I actually did a video on that a little while back. If you go to my channel's homepage and go to the videos where it shows or uploads or something, I don't remember what it says now, but if you go to that, you'll be able to find the video that I did showing the foot pedal. And real quickly, I've had some people ask me why they should get that one because it's so expensive. And it was, I think I paid $40 for mine. Well, you don't have to get that one. You can get any one you want to. I chose to get that one because it was recommended to me by one of you all who had discovered that. I'm not the one who discovered it. I didn't even realize there was such a thing. It was recommended to me, but also because that particular model has the variable speed control. Not all foot pedals have a variable speed control on them. So if you choose, to get a different brand that's cheaper, because there are cheaper ones out there, just make sure that it does have that variable speed on it. Otherwise, it kind of defeats the purpose of having it, unless you just want it to turn your hairdryer on and off, because that's all it'll do if it doesn't have the variable speed control on it. So, all right. And well, I've not even done anything yet, and I already managed to splatter some ink on my paper. All right, I really don't know what I'm gonna do here, so we're just gonna play it by ear and see what happens. I've got, oh goodness, too much brass. One thing with the brass to remember, seriously, you don't need a lot of it. It really only takes just a very little bit. One small drop per drop of ink is plenty. Now you notice I am using my foot pedal right now, just on full force. In fact, I'm going to turn this on to heat for just a minute, because that's not drying well. You still have to be a little cautious with the Nara paper, just like with all of the synthetic art papers. When you're using heat, the paper it will still warp. Now the Nara is much better to flatten back out as it cools, much better than the Yupo is for that. But there does come a point when it will just completely warp and not flatten back out. All of them are like that, since, I mean, pretty much all these are sheets of thinly extruded plastics. It's polypropylene, which is a type of plastic, so it will warp, and I'm probably going to wish that I had diluted the eggplant, because that's looking really dark next to that moss. I love the color eggplant. It's so cool to use. If you're really, really new at this, it might not be one you want to use. Oops, too much. If you're using Yupo, it is one of the ones that takes some getting used to, because it really stains on Yupo, but it's one of those that really splits up into kind of its individual colors that it's made up of. So it's really pretty cool. Fun to play around with. See just how far you can stretch it, how many different colors you can get to come out of it. This is shell pink. I'd forgotten which colors I even had laid out. Oh, everything's just conspiring against me at the moment. I'm getting lots of moisture beads. Being back in North Carolina, in the mountains, you'll hear me, I'm flicking this down on a little bit of low heat for a minute to try to, actually, maybe high heat. Trying to get some of those little water spots and moisture beads to dry up a little. But really, what I'm doing right now is about the best way to deal with them. Just as soon as your ink is dry, just, take a little corner. I've just grabbed the whole thing this time, but I'll tear off pieces frequently, and you just dab it and soak up that water. I was getting ready to say something, and I don't even know what it was. So, moving on. We'll continue to go. But there's really not anything you can do much to stop these moisture beads. They just, especially if you live in a humid area, live on the coast somewhere, or, anywhere where you've got high humidity, especially, goodness, I'm about to drip, you're just going to struggle with that. And really, the best thing to do is make sure you're working with 99% alcohol, because the lower the water concentration in your alcohol, the better, obviously. But also, It's just, trying to keep the place that you're working in as dry as possible. I keep a fan running, but it doesn't really help with the humidity all that much. But pretty much the best thing you can do is just to sort of dab it off the paper just as soon as you can tell. If you've painted much, you can tell when it's moisture that's left and not isopropyl. And you can see how it will it discolors, I guess. I don't like that term because it's still a pretty color. It's just different. You're not going to get as smooth of a finish. You're going to get these other little lines. But sometimes I actually like those, and I think they're pretty cool looking. But that's just me. You can deal with it however you want to. Which is actually reminds me of something else I'd wanted to say, and I actually think I might have mentioned this on a previous video, but I'm going to mention it again because I do get comments from people about, why don't I do this or why don't I do that? Well, please try it. The reason I don't do it that way is just because I don't. Sometimes it's because I've never thought of it. Sometimes it's because I just don't do it that way. Different people do things differently, which is how I sort of developed some of my own styles with this, was because I didn't try to do exactly what everyone else, was doing. Really, the best thing for you is to develop your own style. You're going to be much happier with it than if you're trying to just really exactly copy someone else, because you really will probably end up unhappy with what you're doing because you can't make your stuff look exactly like someone else's. Now, it's not to say you can't do it the same way, but don't expect it to look the same way. Just because we're all different. Now, I know somebody's going to ask me why I'm holding my paper. It's because it has nothing to do with helping me paint, other than I need to turn my paper. And this is a sheet of Yupo that's underneath here. And these things, see, this is why I'm holding my paper, just for speed and ease of turning and moving, just so that it's not, it sort of like, I don't know, air seals itself down on that Yupo. So I'm just trying to kind of prevent that a little bit. Sometimes I do hold it when I'm doing things because I want to tilt my ink a certain way, but at this point in time, it's just because I was getting really tired of trying to pry stuff up off of the Yupo. If you are using heat instead of cool, the best thing to do if you're concerned about warping is to you know, don't keep your heat on it for a long period of time. Just put it down on there, you know, dry your little spot and keep it, if you can keep it up off your paper a little bit, that helps a little bit too. And let your paper cool before you continue on. Don't try, if you're trying to dry a really big place, try not to keep your air on any longer than you have to if you're using heat. Before you let your paper cool down. That'll help keep it from getting a warp that you can't get rid of. Oops. Now, if you get a little hole like that, you can take something like this, which is just some little thing I picked up at Hobby Lobby. It's actually for acrylic painting. I think this is not a blunt or a stump. This is plastic. It's not, it would not be a good smoothing tool or shading tool for charcoals or anything. This is just, I don't know what it's called, but I think they use it in acrylic painting for, you know, you can pick fuzz out of your paints, or you can use it to draw out things and make lines and whatever you want to do. I think that's actually what it's for, but I just sort of repurposed it because, well, I could. I saw a use for it that I needed. So that's what I decided to do with it, is I use it for spreading and making my inks go a little bit more where I want them to go. I'm sorry, I was putting lids back on these for just a minute before I get everything completely mixed up. All right, well, let's spread this out. I feel like there was something I was getting ready to tell you all a little bit just a few minutes ago, and then I got sidetracked, which if you've watched me like very long, you know that happens. I get sidetracked quite easily. So I have got 3 videos right now that are waiting for voiceovers. I just cannot really seem to find the time to do it. I think I had mentioned on the last video I posted back here at our house in North Carolina, I don't have any way to close off my painting area from the rest of the house like I did in Washington, and so it gets a little difficult for me to do voiceovers because people are frequently just running in and out of my space or watching TV, which I can hear, and I don't want to pick that up in the video. I actually almost got a copyright strike for that one time a while back because my husband was listening to a music video in the other room really loudly enough that it picked up on my video that I was making. And yeah, I don't know, I'm not even sure how it got found. YouTube's algorithm found it somehow and warned me that if I didn't take that song out of my video, I was going to have a copyright strike. Which I didn't even know there was a song in my video. So, I don't think anybody even noticed. There's actually about 3 minutes worth of that video that are just cut out, because that's the only way I could get rid of it, other than doing a voiceover on the entire thing. And I just didn't want to have to do that. Now when you're mixing colors like this, you know, be real careful with your blending parts. You don't want to over blend in there. And and just end up with brown or gray, whatever. You want to make sure that you can still see bits of those individual colors just sort of morphing together. I guess that's the best way to put it that I can think of. So anyway, I was lucky enough this evening to get the house all to myself for a few minutes. My husband has gone to play golf, and the girls are visiting their parents, so I actually had a few quiet minutes. So while I'm doing this, though, I'll tell you about the videos that I have that I need to do the voiceovers on. They are challenges from my grandchildren. Now, I mean, those of you who've been watching me a while, you know my husband and I are raising 2 of our grandchildren, our son's kids, Maddie and Zoe. They live with us full time. That's bad. Our daughter also has 2. Our grandson Brennan and our new granddaughter Mila, who is, as of now, 8 weeks old. Our grandson Brennan is getting ready to turn 10 in just a few days. But anyway, what I did was I asked the 3 older ones, Maddie, Zoe, and Brennan, to pick me out some colors because I just couldn't decide what I wanted to, like what colors I wanted to use. Was just really struggling with feeling like I was in a rut with my colors. And so I asked them if they would pick me out some colors. So they picked out colors for 2 paintings, 3 colors each. And when I came in and looked at the colors, I just like instantly went back and was like, these are not the kind of colors I was expecting you all to pick. What's the deal here? I'm not even sure that one set of this that I can even do anything with. And so they said they felt like I needed a challenge. And that they were challenging me to see if I could make a painting that looked good out of colors that they thought were terrible. Now, it's not that the colors are terrible, but to them, the colors were terrible. And there was one of the set of 3 that, yes, in no lifetime would I have ever put those 3 colors together myself and tried to do a painting out of them. They are just not really compatible colors. So that was their challenge to me. So when you all see those videos and you wonder why on earth would I have chosen those colors, probably nobody's going to watch those videos when they see the thumbnails just because of the colors. But that's okay. I'm going to put them on there anyway. The kids would be very disappointed if I did not. So as soon as I can get the voiceovers done for those, I will be putting them on there. But they're just such stinkers. I love them all so much. I just thought it was really funny that they thought that I needed a challenge. And they were going to challenge me with those colors. There's another thing you can use if you don't have if you don't have some sort of blending tool nearby, you can use your finger. It's messy, but it works. Actually, I'll show you real quick because they're sitting right here. I haven't put them up yet. I left them out. They chose, for one of them, terracotta, sunshine yellow, and this is purple twilight, which you can't really see the color of it because ink is all over the bottle now. But yeah, some really bizarre color combinations. The other one, I think they were thinking of, I don't know, maybe Mila's baby poop diapers, because these are the colors that they chose for it: butterscotch, lettuce, and espresso. Now these do go good together, but when you start putting them down on paper, it does kind of tends to look like different shades of baby poop. Or maybe I've just seen baby poop diapers too much lately. That's what was on my mind. I don't know. So, but anyway, that'll be in a couple of upcoming videos, so that you all can see, if you want to, what I ended up doing with those colors that they challenged me with. I'm going to soak a little of that off because I got too much eggplant right there. And that's nothing you can do. If you get too much ink on there, just soak a little of it back off and then rework that spot. Can't do it as easily on Yupo as you can on something like the Nara, but you definitely can do that. And I mean, I have saved many paintings by doing that. I'm going to get a little more up there, I hope. But when you've got it to where it's almost black like this, if you're using a color like eggplant, yeah, you don't want that much ink in there if you can help it, unless you are just going to really be spreading it out just a massively long way. You can, I mean, gosh, it's been a really long way back. I can't remember how far back now. It's been over a year, I guess. That I showed you all, did a video on doing a painting with just the color eggplant and seeing how far I could spread just a little bit of it. That was terrible. And if you haven't seen that, you know, you go watch it and you'll get an idea of what I'm talking about with, oh, I had that on heat. That's the reason. I kept thinking, dang, I wasn't getting time to work my ink in. But you'll see what I'm talking about with the darker colors like eggplant. You really can go a very long way with them. You can do an entire painting out of, you know, 3 or 4 drops of ink. There you go. Starting to get it fixed now. I really had way more than I realized in there. Though now I'm running into the problem on this one, partly because of my dabbing, but also partly because of working that so much, trying to fix it. My brass has blended in quite a bit right there, and I'll probably just leave it. I don't think I'm going to try to put more brass in. You can if you want to, but I'd rather just leave it. Sometimes I just like that little hint of it in there anyway, rather than having a lot of really big sections and globs of it. I hope y'all can hear me okay. My phone, excuse me, my, it's not on a tripod anymore. It's on a, I don't know what you call it, a gooseneck holder thing. But it's much lower and it's closer to my face now, so that hopefully you're picking up my voice better, but you're probably picking up the dryer better as well. So I'm hoping that you can hear me okay. That I don't end up having to do a voiceover on this, because I discovered that you can't hear anything I said when I go back and start editing. Stepping on my foot pedal there without even holding my dryer. It is so very humid today. It's not really hot where we are right now. We are, in western North Carolina near Grandfather Mountain. Y'all know where that is. It's not hot, but it is really humid. I'm sweating even though I'm not hot. And it's really messing with the inks. Just way too much. Way too much moisture in the air for these inks to like this. I got too used to the 15% humidity that we get a lot of times in southeastern Washington, where it was, just always dry. So, let me apologize too for how long you all are having to wait between videos right now. I'll explain a little bit of it on my next one when I do the voiceover for one of the challenges the kids gave me. I did 2 paintings with one color combination and one with the other one. But it only took me just 20-some minutes, I guess, to do that painting. And that's not anything new. There's no new techniques that I did. I was mostly just trying to whip something out real quick, just to aggravate them and show them that I could make a painting out of those colors. But when I do the voiceover on that one, I probably won't do a lot of tutorial. There's not much to tell you. So I'll try and do a little bit of explaining for why, other than the fact that I still am not unpacked. Still have boxes. We're getting there slowly. We still have boxes and totes and just things still in our cargo trailer we used for moving that still need to be unpacked. So I'll warn you now, you might not want to watch that video, or if you want to watch it, you can mute it if you don't want to hear me talking and just telling you about some of the stuff that's been going on in my life. I hate it when I forget and put it on heat, because I'm used to having more time to deal with the ink. The heat just dries it up so quickly. That's looking terrible right there at the moment. Hopefully I can get that looking better. When I got the heat on it, this is something to really watch out for too, but the heat dries it so fast it dams up sometimes. And that causes some issues with getting your inks to move. Now here's something, if you live in a humid area. You saw where I stopped just to get some of the ink off. Well, the longer it takes you to dry stuff, so if you're stopping to just get off excess ink or whatever, the more you're gonna see the little squiggly lines from your moisture beads. And I really have not figured out why. I guess, actually, I don't even have a guess. Sorry. I don't know what it is, but I've noticed that the longer it sits there, with no dryer on it or anything, the more I see those push out like that. And I wish I knew why that was, because I really don't. I'm sure there's some obvious answer that I just don't know. Painting here in North Carolina, it's yeah, it's almost like having to relearn a lot of stuff for me, because it's just different. The dealing with the humidity, and not that I've ever had much in the way of privacy, because the girls just, will come and go as they please anyway, even if I have the door shut. Which, if you've heard them on some of my videos, asking for food or whatever, that they really could do themselves, but I think sometimes they just like to check and make sure that I'm still in there. They just like to, be close every now and then. Actually lay eyes on me when I'm in another room. This is why I'm like slinging down my dryer right now, trying to keep these moisture beads from forming so much, because it is just getting later in the evening. It's getting more humid. I'm having more trouble now than I was when I first started dealing with that moisture. Oops. All right, I am gonna leave this like this. I'm fairly happy with this one. I love this color combination. It's just, I don't know, a little bit different than most of the ones that I tend to do. I think throwing that moss green in there just kind of made it look a little different than what I normally do. But I'm really happy with this one. It's got some places in it that I, may not love, but it adds to the character of the painting. So remember that when you end up with some of these little places like this. I hope y'all can see that, because I can't see my screen right now to tell if it's in the shot, but where the water beads made a little bit of a darker line in there, it just really kind of adds something to it in a way. So, you know, I hope that y'all enjoyed it. And I didn't really have a whole lot to teach you in this one because I feel like I've covered so much of everything already. If you go back and watch my older videos, you're going to get all the lessons that you need to help you get over whatever struggle it is you may be having at that particular time. So, all right. Well, I will be back hopefully very soon as I can get a chance to do some voiceovers on the 3 videos that are sitting here waiting for me to do something with them. So I will be back with y'all as soon as I can. I hope y'all have a great day. I love all of you, and I'll see you soon. Bye.